Welcome everyone. In the last session, we discussed about training method evaluations or training evaluations, within which we came up with certain methods. And the last method which we discussed was experimental control group method. Now, within experimental control group method, as a recap, we studied that the control group is consisting the group of people which is not gone through any kind of training session or any kind of instructions, whereas experimental group consists all those members those have gone through certain instructions or a training session. So after comparing both the groups, we can identify whether there is a change occur in the experimental group as compared to the control group, and then the effectiveness of the training can be identified. The another approach we'll discuss, that is Kirkpatrick's approach. Now, within the Kirkpatrick's approach, there are certain dimensions under which the evaluation of training being conducted. Now, the first and the foremost part of training session is the person who is disseminating information, who is educating individuals, who is providing any set of knowledge to the individuals. Their individuals' reactions, their individuals' feedback about the training sessions. So that may be that the session being interactive, session being accepted by the people, individuals have learned certain things, they were responding related to the queries which were being raised within the session. So all these can be the reactions, or there may be reactions like that individual still requires certain further sessions in their dimension. They need to have regression with respect to their training session, with respect to their practices. So all these can be the feedback with in the dimension of receiving trainers' reaction. Another which will ultimately contribute towards how effective the training be. The another aspect which is available, that is being learning changes. As we have seen in the beginning of training process, we need to go for training need identification, and these need being identified in three dimensions, being knowledge, skills, and attributes. So similarly, after the training, we need to check whether after the session, the individual is capable of making certain changes and has seen some level being uplifted with respect to their competency domains which they were possessing earlier. So the changes which is being available with respect to knowledge, skills, and attitude and the learning of individual trainees will say that the training being effective. If there is no alteration, there is no change in that dimension, so definitely the training program need to be modified or rescheduled once again. Now, the third, which is to be considered for training evaluation as per Kirkpatrick approach, that is a behavioral changes. Now, behavioral changes can be understood in dimension of the operation which an individual do with respect to their job profiles, or we can say operation or actions, and the behavior will that person possesses with the all socially belonged people in the organizations. Now, when we look forward for the first dimension, the operational efficiency, the method of performing the things, the execution related to any kind of job responsibilities, if that get modified, if that get improvised, if that get, we can say, improved by the learner being part of any training session, the training can be understood as an effective training. Whereas the other things may also take place, the opposite thing may also take place. And the second dimension, that how after the training session, individual is capable of identifying himself being part of the team members, himself being attached with the other part, being the superior, being the colleague, being the junior, with them, how they are able to lend. So that will be the behavioral things can be understood, and if these occurs, then the training is being effective. The last dimension within it, that is result. Now, when we look forward for result, that is being seen from organizational dimension. Now, when we look forward to organizational dimension, it looks that how much development, how much growth, how much outcome related for overall organization this training has provided, this training has contributed. So the employees, those who are member of those member of sessions, can have improvement in overall development, overall growth, overall measurements in the organization's development. So when we look forward for all these things under organizational level, if the individuals have contributed and total outcome to the output, so we can identify the training being effective. So this is the approach carried by Kirkpatrick. Now, when we see these are the broader dimensions being available, under which we'll have different further dimensions or further categories being identified. Like for the trainer, we can have a feedback forms being available. For the learner changes, we can have tests being available. We can have checking of their learning changes being available. For the behavior, we can have observations related to individuals, and for the results, we can have quantified as well as qualitative outcomes or measures under which we can check whether the individual has improved or not. Now, moving ahead further, there are some more methods. The next method which is available, that is called CIRO approach. This is the abbreviation related to the terms which are used in this particular method. C stands for context, I stands for input, R stands for reaction, and O stands for output. So first, when we look forward for this, that is the context. Now, when we look forward for the context dimension, means किसी ट्रेनिंग के करस्पॉन्डिंग के भी क्या आधार था जिसके बेसिस पे हम कह सकें कि उस आधार में चेंजेस आए हैं, उस आधार के हिसाब से कोई भी ट्रेनिंग का आउटकम इफेक्टिव रहा. So now when we look forward for this, the bases are always being individual dependent. So in that regard, we look forward for how individual being evaluated under the competency domains. Then against those competency domains, the person being further checked in different dimensions of his learning, and then we identify whether this training has actually made some differences in the learning of individual regarding those contexts or those dimensions which we have seen. So now when we look forward for these things, it is being considered or mentioned as individual difficulties. The needful areas of training are the difficulty areas where the individual is not capable of performing as a responsibility effectively. So this will be the first dimension. The second, which is available, input. Now, as we have seen in the training process, we decide about the design related to our training program we create within which we talk about material, method, content, all aspects we talk about. So similarly, in this, we evaluate whether the content which is being delivered, the material which is being used, and the method which is being applied is the appropriate one for providing the certain set of trainings under the any KRAs. As we have discussed earlier, KRAs being key response, the key result area. Now, when we look forward for this, so the combination, as we have seen earlier, that what method need to be opted, deciding about the material, deciding about the content, we need to come up with the right setup. So the second input is going to be what? Deciding about the training programs related aspect. The reaction will be from two dimensions further. There will be trainer, there will be learner. So from the trainees, from the learner, trainers, both are being active part of that particular training session. So they will be narrating what type of feedback they have related to the training session they have undergone. And the last which is available, that is the outcome, that is immediate, intermediate, and ultimate. So outcome within the organization, so the training can be immediate, can be intermediate, can be ultimate. So the training can be provided to individual to resolve the current issue, the immediate issue which need to be tackled by the organization. So in that case, when the training being provided just to sort out the current problem, individual being instructed to solve the current issues within the organization, current issues within the job profile, then it will be what we will be receiving immediate results. The outcome will be immediate because the moment they will be provided with training, thereafter they are going to imply all those particular into practice. Whereas the intermediate will be in context of when the individual being provided with training and the outcome is being received with respect to their different stages of process. Like when we see intermediate means if we have some training sessions being provided with respect to that training sessions, the intermediate goods, just taking an example of intermediate goods, intermediate goods in getting improved. The version of intermediate goods is becoming more qualitative. So in that particular case, when the training session being provided within any organization, which will not immediately going to impact the individual's outcome, but in the process of performing certain things in future, that is going to give certain contribution. That is going to be in the intermediate aspect of research. The third which is available, that is the ultimate aspect, that we can see the objective which organization has decided, the objective which the department has decided, the objective which is being drafted for any individual, all these being the ultimate targets which an individual is looking forward for, or which an organization is looking forward to achieve. So with respect to that, when the training is being provided to make individual clear about this, the simple example for that, if visionary approach has to be clear among the people, that what is actually the vision, how they need to contribute towards the organization while keeping the visionary aspect of organization. So that will be coming under the ultimate result. So if individual is clear about the vision, mission, objectives of the organization, so definitely their efforts will be for right set of outcomes. So when we look forward for CIR approach, from an individual perspective, we provide certain inputs, we look forward for the action from trainers and trainees, and ultimately we get outcomes in three dimensions, being immediate, intermediate, and ultimate. Now, the next approach which is available, that is called Bell's approach. Bell's approach and CIRO approach, they are somewhat utilizing the similar kind of dimensions. We'll just discuss about all these. In this, the first which is being given, that is reaction outcome. The second is context outcome. Third is attitude outcome, and fourth is worth outcome. So when we talk about reaction outcome, so definitely what type of reactions being provided by the learner, what type of reactions being provided by the trainer, this is the reaction outcome. So whether it is being supportive for the training session or it is demanding for something new to be added to that training session, is the reaction outcome. Second is the context outcome. Is there any kind of changes occurring in the learning of individual? Is there any kind of knowledge enhancement of individuals facing certain difficulties being resolved through the training or not? So that will be the contextual outcome. Then when we look forward for, there will be attitude outcome. Attitude outcome, as we have seen earlier, there is a behavioral changes. So similarly, the attitude outcome will be coming up with what? That the people comes up with something favorable, something unfavorable. So when we look forward for attitude is what? Someone's behavior towards one or the other thing in a favorable or unfavorable manner. So in that case, we say the person is coming up with certain attitude. So through the training, the person may come up with certain positive behavior and may have some unfavorable behavior towards certain situation or point. The another last which is available, that is the worth outcome, that how much the training has actually contributed, what is the worth. It can be seen from the organizational dimension, it can be seen from immediate, intermediate, and ultimate dimension, or it can be seen from the individual's dimension, that how much worth being provided through the training sessions to organization, individual, and the outcomes which we have discussed. So this is about your evaluations method. Thank you.